Hi guys, welcome back to Linda's Pantry, and today I am making sourdough hamburger buns. I'm going to make them quickly. I'm going to boost them with a little instant yeast so the fermentation doesn't take as long, because I've got a pulled pork out on the grill I did for you guys on the Traeger, and I want to make sure I have beautiful homemade hamburger buns to go with these. So these are a little sweet. I'm going to add some sugar, and when you use your sourdough and you're fortifying it with sugar or milk or any of that, it takes the sourness out, but it still adds a very complex flavor, if that makes sense. So, first things first, I am going to I've got my starter here, and it is big and lofted up. It is happy. There's tons of air pockets in there. I want a half a cup of starter. This is not a huge batch of dough, but I want a half a cup of my sourdough starter in here. Oh, let's get you in close so you can see everything that's going on. And I fed this starter this morning. I'm getting ready to, and let me know in the comments if you'd like to be a part of that, or if you'd like to buy some of this starter. I'm going to be I'm going to dehydrate it and offer a starter that I can mail off to people that want it. I've had several requests, so come on in close. Let me show you. So I've got my starter in here, and I have some warm water, not hot, just like bath, like your temperature. Not so. And I want a heaping teaspoon of active yeast on top. I'm going to add my water, and I'm adding a cup of water. So I had 2 cups warmed up, and this is filtered water. So I'm going to go ahead and mix the starter in, and you know it's good because it's trying to float. So that starter started out down here, and it rose all the way up to that point. So that's really good. It's a very active. You can see all the bubbles. See all that? That's a good starter. Yeah, oh, it smells so good. And when you taste it, it's a little tart. So I'm gonna let the yeast and the starter and the water get acquainted. And then I'm gonna grab my dough whisk, because I will need that. So this is going to be really good. And the yeast is just going to help me out, because I don't have all day to do this. So you could do a slow ferment on this, but I'm not going to. I'm going to do it this way. And I'm going to show you in another video how I do my jalapeno cheddar bread. Also using sourdough starter and bumping it up with a little bit of yeast, because, well, we can. So you don't have to wait till that blooms. Honestly, I've never found it to be a problem if it doesn't, you know what's in there, you haven't killed the yeast. I'm going to add, this is a 1/4 cup measuring. I'm going to add a little over, about 1/3 of a cup actually, of granulated sugar. Perfect. And then get that dissolved down in there. Okay. And then you always need salt. You're definitely going to need a little bit of salt. And let me grab my teaspoon, and we're going to pour out some salt. And this is just regular fine sea salt. Okay. Heaping teaspoon of sea salt. And I've done the yeast or the salt after I've done the, let the dough kind of get happy. And I've done it before, and I don't see a big difference. So as long as it's not right on top of your yeast, the sugar is going to counteract a lot of that. So we're going to go ahead now and get my happy little dough whisk down here. And we'll get that moving. It's going to be so good. All right, now, these are almost like a Hawaiian sweet roll, to be really honest. Okay, so start adding our flour. And literally it's gonna be 2.5 cups of flour. That's about all we're gonna need. Till we get a nice shaggy dough. This is my favorite technique to do all my breads with now. Now you could do this in the stand mixer. I want to keep the dough pretty airy and light, and it's easy to get this mixed up and let the yeast and the fermentation, or let everybody get acquainted within the flour, and let the flour really rehydrate before I start getting too busy. Okay, I do need about a quarter cup more, so probably wasn't a full 2.5 cups. Get it where you're pulling everything up off the sides here, and then it's just about ready. So see how it's wanting to form a dough ball? That is what you want. It's a shaggy dough ball. That's exactly what I want. And now I'm going to cover this with plastic wrap. Any dry spots will go away, and it will be a dough ball that I can work with. Okay, I'm going to cover it with plastic wrap and put it in the proofing oven for a half hour. Okay, so it is time to get this dough stretched a little bit. And I'm just going to take my, and we're gonna get some strength to this. So I'm now, this one I stretch, but I'm kneading in a little bit of extra flour while we're doing this. So get that flour worked in there into that dough ball. And oh, this is a really nice piece of dough. You'll kind of get the feel for your dough as you start making bread and rolls and all of that. This, we don't want it as wet. You can still stretch and shape and do all that. You can still do that. That's still a form of kneading. If it gets too sticky and starts sticking to you, just add just enough on your hands. You don't need to add a whole lot more to the dough. It's going to tell you when it's had enough, and I really feel we're just about there. So we're just going to knead this, stretch, do some stretching and folding. You can do all of that like you do with your traditional sourdough slow fermentation. You'll see this dough kind of get softer and more pliable, and that's what we want. I definitely want to keep it. I don't want to add too much flour, but and then once I get this kneaded, I'm going to oil the bowl, and I'm going to let this rise in the proofing oven, and then we'll let it double in size. Once that's happened, we'll take it out and we'll shape our buns, our hamburger buns. Okay? All right. So about five minutes of kneading, and you can take a break if you want. You can just do the stretches every half hour, but I really want to speed up this process a little bit. So I have these ready for dinner. All right, guys. I feel like this dough ball is ready for some oil. And you should be able to stretch that and have some strength to that dough. I think it's just about there. I might leave it sit for another 15 minutes and do this again. All right, we'll be back. Okay, so we're gonna attempt to do these hamburger buns and give them a little risey rise. Flour my board a little bit, even though it's not gonna stick. It's good. Look at that. And it didn't rise up a lot, but I think I want each bun to be like 4 ounces, maybe, right? Maybe not. Let's get some bit of flour worked in before we get started here. All right, I don't want them to stick on my board. Yeah. because I didn't add a lot of yeast to it. Yeah, so, okay, so we got our little bitty turned up. Let's do that. Let's see what because these could be little sliders. 4 ounces, perfect. That's exactly what I want. So you're gonna take that and form a dough, right? Stretch it, stretch it, stretch it. Just like you're making a roll, a dinner roll, right? Get some tension on that dough. Once you've got that, go ahead and put it down on a cookie sheet, parchment, and I'm gonna smash them down. And actually get flour on my fingers. Gonna smash just like that, okay? Does that make sense? I'm gonna finish the rest of these, and actually this is probably gonna make a bigger batch than I had planned. Let's see if that's 4 ounces. Nope. Four ounces right there. Okay. It's gonna be a pinch and go. Okay. Get some tension. I cannot wait. These are gonna be so good. Super good. All right, sourdough, sourdough. Push them down. They're gonna spring back up just like this one is. You're just, as you go ahead and figure it out. Okay, I'm gonna get the rest of these all 4 ounced out and we'll start over. We'll bring it back. This made a Baker 7. Anyways, I'm gonna let these rise and it's nice and warm in here. The oven's going. I got jalapeno cheddar bread in there and I'm getting ready to do round 2 with that. By the time that's done, these will be ready and ready to go in the oven. All right, okay, these hamburger buns are done. They got nice and brown on the one side. I'm gonna go ahead and cut into one. They've had a chance to cool and they're soft and delicious. Oh my gosh, look at that crumb. There's your crumb. Sourdough hamburger buns, and absolutely, they look fantastic inside. I want to taste them. I just want to taste a little piece of the dough. Oh yeah, it's sweet. It's savory. It's delicious. So this is actually going to go into a to-go box for tomorrow. And so I'm probably not gonna dress up a pulled pork sandwich for you, but oh my gosh, that's what that sourdough hamburger bun, soft, and I buttered the tops a little bit after they baked a little while. And so they're soft and they're just absolutely, you could butter these and toast them. This is a perfect burger bun. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this. I truly hope that it inspires you to make your own sourdough hamburger buns, and in the future, yes, and make some jalapeno cheddar. I got that all done. It's been a big day in my neighborhood. All right, guys, I can't wait to see you next time, and yeah, good night.